Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
If nautical nonsense be something you wear,
SpongeBob SquarePants.
then rub on the deck and flop like a fish.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Wash your man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand. Wash your man, the voyage to the corner of the globe is a real trip.
The SpongeBob SquarePants movie, directed by Steven Hillenburg, and is of course the movie based on the classic cartoon TV show SpongeBob SquarePants that has been going from 1999 to present day. Man, I can't believe it's been going for 18 years now. Well, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie tells the story of SpongeBob, the fry cook at the Krusty Krab, about to be promoted as the manager, but to his disappointment, Mr. Krabs, his greedy, money-hungry boss, chooses the other lazier employee, Squidward, over SpongeBob just because he considers SpongeBob a kid. And to make matters worse, Plankton, Mr. Krabs' business rival, has stolen Neptune's crown in order to put his evil plan Z, as he calls it, into place. So, and he frames Krabs for the crime. Neptune orders Krabs' execution unless SpongeBob and Patrick can journey to Shell City in exactly 6 days and bring back Neptune's crown, save Mr. Krabs and Bikini Bottom from Plankton's wrath, while having to avoid the ruthless bounty hunter Dennis on their tail. Now, I cannot believe that this movie is 13 years old now. Yeah, I'm thinking now is the right time to be talking about both this movie and its 2015 sequel, the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water, which I will review after this movie. And now, I love SpongeBob, guys. I absolutely adore this guy. I have loved him ever since I was a kid, and who doesn't love SpongeBob? It's just an escapism and a break from reality. It has timeless characters and surprisingly deep themes, as well as laugh-out-loud comedy for kids and adults alike. Well, it used to when Steven Hillenburg was in charge, until Steven Hillenburg resigned and it started to suck in later seasons. But I loved the SpongeBob SquarePants movie when it came out in 2004, even though Steven Hillenburg was against a movie at the time. Nickelodeon eventually persuaded him to greenlight it, and thank goodness they did, and thank goodness he wrote the script, because I am still as crazy about this movie today as I was back then. This is one of the definitive movies of my childhood, and it is the most perfect SpongeBob movie we as fans could have hoped for. And for the starters, I love the movie's opening with the pirates getting the tickets to the SpongeBob movie. That is such a clever opening, and that really works. And I love the fact that it's in live action. I love, even though this movie's animated, it incorporates live action elements to make it feel more cinematic rather than just an extended episode of the show. And I love how they sing the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song. It's such a classic callback to the show without feeling forced, and the pirates going to the cinema and just watching the movie throughout is there's an absolutely original idea that worked brilliantly. And I love all the characters in this movie. The classic SpongeBob characters are all respected and done perfectly here, down to a T. SpongeBob is happy-go-lucky, naive, fun-loving guy who, despite things going wrong in life, he always looks on the bright side no matter what, and that's why I really relate to him. And Patrick Star, my absolute favourite SpongeBob character. Now, when I did my Drawing SpongeBob video, a good friend of mine, Ella Lynn, she says that Patrick Star was her favourite SpongeBob character, and I completely agree with you, Ella. He is the absolute best. He's so lovable, fun, and simple, and always gets the best lines. And I love that the original voice cast all return, and they've been playing these roles for years now. They were completely made for these roles, and know them all by heart. Considering they voiced them for nearly 20 years of their life now, they probably see themselves as the characters. And Plankton, the main antagonist of the show, is the main antagonist here. And if you thought he was a fun villain who constantly failed to steal the Krabby Patty formula in the show, here he is absolutely ruthless and goes to far lengths to make sure he succeeds, and destroys Mr. Krabs and has Bikini Bottom and the world in his grasp. He is truly a villain you respect in this film and really fear. They did a great job with showing that, and I love how he has his plans labelled by letters from the alphabet, and his plan in this movie is Plan Z. So hilarious. And I also love the new characters in the movie. They are brilliant additions. I wish they were in the show, like King Neptune, who's so tyrannical and just wants to execute people all the time, and his kind-hearted daughter Mindy. She's easily my favourite character in the movie. She sees the good in the sea creatures and and begs her father to show them mercy, and she's going to be a better queen and better ruler than he is. And Jeffrey Tambor and Scarlett Johansson, absolutely fantastic in their roles. This is probably the only time I've heard Scarlett Johansson voice act, other than when she voiced Car in The Jungle Book, but she did a pretty good job here. And I love the film's story. It's the story you'd imagine a SpongeBob movie to be. I'm glad it doesn't take itself too seriously. I'm glad it doesn't have to make too much sense, because it's just fun. That's what we want SpongeBob to be, fun. It's fun nautical nonsense, it's escapism, it's a break from reality, which is what the show was about. And if this movie had been too realistic, it wouldn't have had the spirit of the show, and we wouldn't connect to it as much. This is a film that makes us cherish our childhood, and just like Toy Story made us cherish being a kid, as does the SpongeBob movie. And I will talk about the message a bit later on, but I love I think Steven Hillenburg did a flawless job writing the script here. I love the Krusty Krab too. I love Plan Z. I love that Neptune's crown is stolen. Though why King Neptune looks different here than he does in the cartoon, I don't know, but still cool design. I love the addition of Goofy Goober, and I especially love the fact that it's a road movie. It's a journey where SpongeBob and Patrick just test their limits, even though everybody doubts them. Everybody calls them kids, because even though they're adults that act like children, they're possessed as being children, as Tom Kenny says. They still completely believe in themselves, and Mindy, she's the only one that believes they can bring back the crown before Mr. Krabs is executed. That's why Mindy's my favourite character, because she's the one that makes them believe. She's the one that never gives up hope in them, and because of this, thankfully, they do succeed against all odds, and they. The journey feels great. They come across so many conflicts and perils throughout. Like I love the tough tavern that they have to go through, where they start a bubble party and almost get the living shit beaten out of them. And I love the inclusion of the frogfish, which Steven Hillenburg saw when he was snorkeling on a reef in Hawaii. So glad he put that creature in the movie for a fun chase scene. And I love them going through the trench full of monsters, and it's not just a fun journey. There are real stakes in this film. Surprisingly, for a family film, it's a race against time to save Mr. Krabs by only giving them a 6-day time limit. And Dennis is great, the bounty hunter who hunts them down throughout the film and finally meets up with them towards the film's climax. He is an absolutely formidable secondary antagonist, and Alec Baldwin does a superb job throughout voicing the character. Yeah, Alec Baldwin is always great with voice acting, and I wouldn't mess with Dennis. And he has a badass design too. So yeah, I wish Dennis was in the show too, and I so glad that SpongeBob and Patrick actually come onto land, and Shell City is a gift shop. That was such a twist that I didn't see coming. Yeah, this film, it's not too predictable. Yes, it's a very simplistic story, but full of so many original twists and turns that you don't expect. And the fact that the Cyclops, which they talk about the guards, the outskirts of Shell City, is actually a diver makes sense, and it's brilliant. Yeah, this film has so many classic callbacks to the sea and pirates and diving, because SpongeBob is all about the ocean. It shows Steven Hillenburg's passion and love for it, and his desire to preserve it. And the diver is a great villain too. The villains in this movie are absolutely perfect. Doesn't just anyone cry at the scene where they're being fried under the diver's lamp, but that is such a powerful scene. If you don't cry at that scene, do you even have a soul?
I'm a goofy goober, yeah. You're a goofy goober, yeah. We're a goofy goobers, yeah.
Excuse me. That scene is so sad. Luckily, it's not the end for our heroes, as their tear shuts down the lamp and sets the sprinklers on, bringing them back to life, thank goodness. And luckily the other fish come to life, which combines hand-drawn animation with live action brilliantly and beat the crap out of the diver. And luckily they have David Hasselhoff to himself. I'm so happy David Hasselhoff agreed to be in this movie and just give them a ride home. That wasn't actually the real David Hasselhoff who laid down. That was a realistic model they built of him. Really impressive. And when Dennis shows up and SpongeBob and Patrick have to escape him, and they just get the crown back at the very last minute indeed, before Mr. Krabs can be executed, and they foil Plankton's plan with an epic song number, I'm a goofy goober, rah. Oh, and SpongeBob is finally rewarded for his bravery as the manager that he deserves. It's such a epic and a powerful finale, an emotionally moving finale to the movie, and I love also, as well as the comedy, the action, the incorporation of live action and animation, just everything else. I especially love the soundtrack. There's surprisingly many classic songs here, like I'm a goofy goober, yeah, and now that we're men, and of course the big one at the end, I'm a goofy goober. Man, does that kick so much ass, and I love and adore the end credits song Ocean Man. But as perfect as a film as I think it is, I have to admit, the only minor nitpick I'd have of it is that the supporting cast of the SpongeBob show, Squidward, Mr. Krabs and Sandy, are pretty wasted in this film. They get little to do, and Mr. Krabs especially is barely in the film. He spends most of the film frozen, but that's understandable. But Squidward gets little to do, and Sandy only gets one line of dialogue, but that's just a nitpick. I'm glad the movie's main focus was on SpongeBob and Patrick. So overall, the SpongeBob SquarePants film, I think this is a perfect definitive end to the SpongeBob series. Such a shame the show went downhill after this movie, and it's probably the best TV movie ever made. Yes, I would rate it that high. I give the SpongeBob SquarePants movie 5 stars out of 5. So yeah, I love this film as much as I love SpongeBob. I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what do you think of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow us and on Google Plus. And I'll see you next time when I review the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. See you then. Bye, guys.